I gave you my whole life. So why was I the last one to know the truth?
Before today's story begins, if you haven't watched parts 1 through 4, I highly recommend watching them first. Every clue, every letter, and every betrayal connects directly to what you're about to see. Otherwise, this chapter won't make complete sense. Now, let's uncover the truth hidden for more than 24 years. When following Rebecca Lawson's journey, you already know this isn't just a story about betrayal. It's about a family whose lies survived for decades, until one woman decided to stop running from the truth. At the end of part 4, Laura's journal revealed a hidden map. The map pointed to an abandoned farmhouse nearly 30 miles outside the city. On the back of the map, 5 chilling words were written, "And bring no one you trust." Rebecca had no idea what she would find. But she knew one thing. If Laura had risked her life to hide this place, then whatever waited inside was worth dying to protect. Before we continue, please take 1 second to subscribe, because every new episode uncovers another piece of this mystery, and you won't want to miss what happens next. The road became narrower with every mile. Rebecca's luxury SUV left the highway, then followed an old dirt road surrounded by dead trees, no houses, no traffic, no people, only silence. She checked the map again. This has to be the place. Finally, an old wooden gate appeared. Half of it had fallen to the ground years ago. Beyond it stood an abandoned farmhouse. Its windows were broken. The porch leaned dangerously to one side. Nature had almost swallowed the building whole. Rebecca slowly stepped out of the car. The wind carried a strange sound, an old windmill turning somewhere behind the house. She looked around carefully. No one. At least, that's what she thought. She walked toward the front door. It wasn't locked. The hinges screamed as she pushed it open. Dust floated through the air. Furniture lay covered beneath white sheets. Everything looked frozen in time, as if someone had walked away and never returned. Rebecca slowly entered. Every step echoed through the empty house. Then she noticed something strange. The floor wasn't completely covered in dust. Someone had walked here recently, fresh footprints, large boot prints. Her heartbeat quickened. "I'm not alone." She reached into her purse, Laura's journal, the map, and the old brass key, the key Laura had hidden inside the journal. Rebecca looked around. There has to be another lock. She searched every room. Nothing. Old photographs, broken furniture, empty shelves, but no lock. Just as she turned to leave, her foot struck something beneath the rug. A metallic sound. Clink. She knelt down, pulled the rug aside. There, hidden beneath years of dust, was a heavy iron trapdoor, exactly the size of a cellar entrance. In the center, a brass lock, the same shape as Laura's key. Rebecca whispered, "This is what you wanted me to find." Her hands trembled as she inserted the key. Click, the lock opened instantly. She slowly pulled the heavy door upward. A rush of cold air escaped from below. Darkness, stone stairs, leading underground. She switched on her phone's flashlight. The beam disappeared into the darkness. She took one cautious step, then another. Each wooden stair creaked beneath her weight. The deeper she went, the colder it became. Finally, she reached the bottom. The cellar was much larger than she expected. Wooden shelves lined the walls, old filing cabinets, locked trunks, dozens of dusty boxes, and in the very center of the room, a wooden table. On top of it, a single leather folder. As if someone had left it there, waiting for her. Across the front, in faded black ink, 3 words were written. "Read this first." Rebecca slowly opened the folder. Inside was a handwritten confession. Not from Laura. Not from Victor, not from Michael. It was signed, Andrew Lawson. Rebecca froze. Her husband had been hiding something all along. She began reading. The very first sentence made her blood run cold. "If you're reading this, then I'm probably too late to stop what's coming." Rebecca whispered, "No." "What did you do, Andrew?" Suddenly, a loud noise echoed upstairs. Bang! Someone had just entered the farmhouse. Rebecca quickly turned off her flashlight. She held her breath. Slow footsteps crossed the wooden floor above her. 1, 2, 3, then. A man's voice echoed through the cellar. "Rebecca, I know you're down there." The voice echoed through the cellar. "Rebecca, I know you're down there." My heart nearly stopped. I didn't answer. I slowly stepped behind one of the old filing cabinets and turned off my phone's flashlight. The cellar fell into complete darkness. I could hear nothing except my own breathing. Then, another voice. Calm, almost familiar. "Rebecca, I'm not here to hurt you. I came to stop you before you make the biggest mistake of your life." I recognized it. It was Victor. I stayed silent. Victor continued speaking. "If you're reading Andrew's confession, please don't believe every word. I frowned. How did he know about the confession? He had never been inside this cellar. Unless he had been here before. I slowly stepped out of the shadows. You knew this place existed. Victor looked at me with tired eyes. Yes, I've known for 24 years. Anger rushed through me. You lied again. You said Laura was the only one who knew. Victor lowered his head. I lied because I was trying to protect you. I laughed bitterly. That's exactly what everyone keeps saying. My husband lied to protect me. My father-in-law lied to protect the family. Laura hid the truth to protect everyone. And now you're saying the same thing. When does the truth finally begin? Victor couldn't answer. I looked back at Andrew's confession. The first page was covered in handwriting. At the top, one sentence had been underlined. I wasn't the first person to betray you. A chill ran through my body. I continued reading. Rebecca, if you've reached this place, then you've already learned about Laura, my father, Victor, and Michael, but none of them told you the first lie. The first lie happened years before we were married, I whispered. What does that mean? Victor slowly sat in an old wooden chair. I was hoping you'd never find this. I stared at him. So you know what's inside? He nodded. I helped Andrew write it. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You helped him. Victor sighed. No, I helped him tell the truth. Before I could respond, the old farmhouse suddenly shook. A loud engine stopped outside. Victor immediately stood. They're here. I looked toward the cellar stairs. Who? The people Laura was hiding from. Footsteps echoed across the floor upstairs. Heavy boots, more than one person. 1, 2, 3, at least 4 people. Someone upstairs shouted, "Search every room." Another voice answered. She couldn't have gone far. My heart started pounding. They're looking for me. Victor nodded. Not just you, the confession. He quickly walked to the back wall of the cellar. He pulled an old lantern hanging from a wooden beam. Behind it, a narrow hidden passage appeared. I stared in disbelief. A secret tunnel? Victor nodded. Your father-in-law built it years ago, in case someone ever came looking for these documents. I looked at Andrew's confession again. There were still several unread pages. I can't leave this. Victor grabbed my arm. You can read it later. If they find you, you'll never learn the rest. Suddenly, a loud crash came from above. The cellar door had been forced open. Someone shouted, "She's down there." Victor looked at me. Go! Without thinking, I grabbed the confession, Laura's journal, and the old map. Then we ran into the narrow tunnel. The stone passage was dark, cold, barely wide enough for 2 people. Behind us, flashlights swept across the cellar. They're escaping! One man yelled. Footsteps thundered behind us. The chase had begun. After several minutes, we reached a heavy iron door at the end of the tunnel. Victor pushed it open. Fresh air rushed inside. We emerged into a dense forest nearly half a mile behind the farmhouse. I bent over, trying to catch my breath. Victor looked back toward the trees. They won't stop. They've spent 24 years protecting this secret. I held Andrew's confession tightly. There has to be something in here they're afraid of. Victor nodded slowly. There is. But it's not the confession, I frowned. Then what are they after? Victor pointed to Laura's journal. They want what's hidden inside that journal. I looked down at the worn leather cover. I've already read it. Victor slowly shook his head. No, you've only read the pages Laura wanted you to see. My heart skipped. What are you talking about? Victor stepped closer. There are hidden pages, and only one person knows how to reveal them. I looked at him. Who? Victor answered quietly. Andrew. The forest was completely silent. Only the sound of our footsteps echoed through the trees. I looked at Victor. You said Laura's journal has hidden pages. He nodded. Yes. They were written with invisible ink. I stopped walking. Invisible ink? Victor gave a small smile. Laura knew someone would eventually steal the journal. So she hid the most important part where only Andrew could reveal it. I couldn't believe it, after everything he did. He's still the only one who can help me, Victor answered quietly. Sometimes, the person who broke your trust is also the only one who can repair the truth. An hour later, we arrived at a small lakeside cabin. It looked old, quiet, hidden from the world. Victor unlocked the door. No one knows about this place. I stepped inside. The cabin was simple. A wooden table, 2 chairs, a fireplace, nothing more. Victor carefully placed Laura's journal on the table. Then he reached into a small cabinet. He removed an old metal box. Inside was a tiny glass bottle. What is that? He smiled. Laura's special ink developer. My heart started racing. So it's true. He nodded. Watch. Victor carefully brushed the clear liquid across one blank page at first. Nothing happened. Then, slowly, faint words began appearing, line by line, sentence by sentence. I couldn't breathe. Laura had been writing in secret all along. The first hidden sentence read, Rebecca, if these words appear, it means you finally found someone willing to tell you the complete truth. Tears filled my eyes. I turned the page. More writing appeared. Everything began with one meeting, but it didn't happen at the company. It happened at the old church on Willow Creek Road. I frowned. A church? Victor nodded. That's where your father met Andrew's father for the very first time. I continued reading. The next paragraph made my hands shake. Rebecca, your father wasn't the man everyone believed he was. I closed my eyes. Not again, Laura continued. He wasn't a villain. He was trying to protect someone, I whispered. Who? Victor remained silent. He already knew. Then, one folded page slipped from the journal. Unlike the others, it wasn't addressed to me. Across the front, only 3 words were written. For Andrew. I looked at Victor. Should I open it? He slowly shook his head. No. Laura specifically asked that Andrew read it. I stared at the envelope. After everything that had happened, could I really trust Andrew again? Just then, the cabin lights suddenly went out. Everything became dark. A second later, a vehicle stopped outside. Victor quietly moved toward the window, his face turned pale. They found us, I whispered. How? No one knew we were here. Victor looked at me, then at the journal. There was only one person who knew about this cabin. I felt my stomach tighten. Who? Victor answered in a broken voice. Andrew. For a moment, I couldn't speak. Had my husband betrayed me again, or had someone been following him all along? A loud knock echoed through the cabin. Bang, then another. Bang, bang, a man's voice called from outside. Rebecca. I know you're in there. I recognized that voice instantly. It was Andrew, but he wasn't alone. Several car doors slammed shut outside. At least 4 other people had arrived with him. Victor quickly handed me Laura's journal. No matter what happens, don't let anyone take this. I looked toward the front door. Andrew spoke again. Rebecca, I know you don't trust me, but if you don't open this door, you'll never know who really killed our family's future. I froze. What did he mean? Laura never said anyone had destroyed the family. She only wrote about lies, secrets, and betrayal. Was there one final truth that no one had revealed? I slowly walked toward the door. My hand rested on the doorknob. Behind it waited the man I once trusted with my entire life. And perhaps the last secret that had haunted both our families for 24 years. To be continued in Part 6.